Today I want to share with you a fun acting exercise that you can do at home by yourself for practice. What's up, my fellow actors? Welcome to the Acting Career Center, here to help you learn the skills you need to break into the film and television industry. My name is Kurt Yu. Thank you so much for spending some time here with me today. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more videos on acting, auditioning, and career advice every single week. In this video, I want to show you a fun acting exercise that you can do at home by yourself with a monologue, but not just any monologue. We're not going to do a monologue from a play or from a movie script. We're going to use song lyrics for our monologue. Because if you think about it, a song is really just a monologue that is put to music. So we're going to strip away that music and just use the words for our monologue. And you can use any song you want. You can just pick your favorite song. Let's take the first verse, those first few lines, and pick out those lines and use them for our monologue for this exercise. Once you have those lines, now we have to start working on them. And when I say work on them, it's not just memorizing, because that's not what acting is. Acting isn't just a memorization contest. Acting is taking those lines, making them your own, making them believable and realistic and truthful so that it can be delivered truthfully as your character. So how do we do that with those song lyrics? Well, the first thing we have to do is figure out why you're saying what you're saying. What's the meaning behind those lyrics? What's the story there? Because every song has a story. Every song has emotion attached to it. And that's what's really fun about using song lyrics as monologues, because they already have that story in there. But we do have to go in and dive in and find it. So dissect your lyrics and figure out what the story is, and that'll help you decide why you're saying what you're saying, because that is going to really give you the intention behind the lines. I'm going to show you an example of how to do this. So I'm going to pick a song, and remember, you can use any song. I'm going to use the theme song from my favorite cartoon growing up when I was a kid, DuckTales. So if you don't know the DuckTales theme song, it goes something like this. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo! Alright, so that's the first verse of the DuckTales theme song. If you didn't hear them, the lines are: life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes, it's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo woo! Now that we have those lines, let's make them into a monologue by first examining what the story is. So, in my opinion, the story of that first verse is that life in Duckburg is crazy, right? I mean, life is like a hurricane. And there's race cars, there's lasers, there's aeroplanes. You could solve a mystery, you could rewrite history. That's the story of it. And then the last part of it is, well, the stories that come out of this town of Duckburg, what do we call them? We call them DuckTales. Woo woo! That's all part of the song lyrics, so we're going to make that all into our monologue. But now that we have a story, we need to give ourselves a reason for telling it. And in order to have a reason, we have to know who we are talking to. This goes for any monologue, not just when we're doing a monologue with song lyrics. Anytime you have a monologue, you have to know exactly who you are talking to, because that affects how you say your lines. So we're gonna decide for this particular story, we're gonna say maybe somebody is a tourist and passing through the town of Duckburg. They've never been here before, and maybe they run into me on the street and they say, "Hey, this is my first time in the town of Duckburg. What's it like living here?" And I could tell them, "Well, guess what? It's crazy. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. You might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales." Woohoo! Right? So this is giving us the story that we're going to tell. This is also giving us the intention behind the words, because we've decided who we are talking to and why we are telling them what's going on in this story that we that we created. But we don't want to just stop there and be done with it, because that's just one way of doing the monologue. And there are honestly endless ways of doing the monologue. As actors, we want to be able to use our imaginations and have fun with this and play around with this and try out all kinds of different things. So what we want to do is just change the point of view. We already talked about earlier that the story in the lyrics is that Duckburg is a crazy city to live in. The point of view that I expressed when I was talking to tourists was that it's exciting, right? I said, life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. I was really excited that life is like a hurricane. But what if we just change the point of view to someone who doesn't like that sort of lifestyle? Someone might want a town that's a lot quieter. So in that situation, if a tourist said, "What is it like living in the city of Duckburg?" this person might say something like, "Oh, life's like a hurricane here in Duckburg," right? Same lines, different point of view. And we could do all kinds of different things. Someone else could be indifferent. Well, life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Someone else could be, maybe someone wants to warn the tourist to be careful. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. We could keep going on and on and on with different points of view. And this is how you can practice using your imagination, practice your acting, so that you are not stuck with doing the lines exactly the same way every single time. So I actually pre-recorded me doing this monologue as someone with the point of view that they do not like how crazy it is here in Duckburg. So let's watch that. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. And you might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Woohoo! See how easy it was to completely change the character by just changing my point of view. The lines didn't change. The lines were the same, but the character was completely different. So do whatever you want with this. Have fun with this. I'm going to show you one more example where I decided to add an accent. I'm playing with a southern accent here for this character using the exact same line. So let's check this out. Well, life's like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. You might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Woohoo! Okay, my southern accent isn't that great, but I still had fun doing it, and I had fun playing with that character, and I hope you do too. So grab your favorite song, take some lyrics out of one or two of the verses, and memorize them as a monologue, and start playing around with it and having fun with it. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and I hope to see you on set one day. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes, it's a tofu.